ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys comparison video. Now today we're going to be talking about all things Iron Man, specifically all things Mark 7. We're going to be comparing the brand new diecast figure to the plastic versions, the rest of the diecast figures in the lineup, and of course the Mark 1 2.0 as well. Now if you do want to pick up your very own diecast Mark 7, he's in stock and up for pre-order for a later batch right now with Philip Liu from Toys Wonderland, and the link for that is down in the description below. Check out his new website, toyswonderland.com. You can now pay with PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and American Express, so he's giving you a whole bunch more options to decide how you'd like to pay for your figures. Also check out the giveaway announcement right at the end of the review. Stick around for the full review. The link is up in the top right hand corner of this video right now. Click that and then watch the video all the way through to the end in order to see how you can enter the giveaway. Either way, what we're going to do now is start off with the Mark 1 compared to the diecast Mark 7. Starting off with the OG, of course, the Mark 1. This is the 2.0 version and it is made of plastic. If there was ever a figure that really needed an upgrade, it would be this guy right here. He's just way too small. He, in fact, should be bigger, in my opinion, than the Mark 7. He's a lot more bulky. He's a lot more rudimentary in terms of the design. He was put together in a cave, so he should be a hell of a lot bigger and a hell of a lot bulkier. But either way, as you can see, I still think these two look pretty darn good together. If you do have them in the Hall of Armor, I don't think it's going to look too out of place. This still definitely does work, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to setting up in my own personal collection. But either way, the size definitely isn't accurate. Either the Mark 7 is too big or the Mark 1 is just too small and is in need of an upgrade, which I'm sort of leaning towards. Either way, let's move on to the Mark 2. And here we have the Mark 2. Now first things first, I'd like to apologize because he is super chrome and he's a little bit challenging to see, but I'm pretty sure this gets the point across. Also, some of these figures are in pretty crazy poses, so forgive me for having those little accessories on his hands right there. But either way, you can see that he definitely is a little bit taller, and I think this works quite nicely. You can see a nice progression in terms of the size getting bigger. You can also see that the paintwork looks really nice and shiny on the Mark 2, whereas on the Mark 7, it's got that sort of nice satin finish, which I think is a little bit more accurate to the film itself. They still look really, really good and very unique from one another, which is of course what we like out of all of our Iron Man suits of armor, but you can definitely tell that they're from the same family. And here we have the Mark 3 with a really shiny, glossy paint job that I think isn't actually all that accurate to the film itself. It's still my absolute personal favorite. It's so damn classic and I just absolutely love it. However, when we do see the quarter scale Mark 3 coming out, I think the paint job is going to look a lot closer to what we're seeing on the Mark 7 because that is just a little bit more film accurate. Now the height is pretty much the same as that Mark 2, maybe a tiny little bit smaller, but as you can see over the years as they progressed through the lineup, Iron Man has been getting a little bit taller. I don't know if that's incredibly accurate to the movie. However, this particular suit of armor is really big and bulky and armored up, so I guess it kind of makes sense. And here we have the diecast Mark 4, one of the more recent renditions to come out of the diecast line. This one in particular was criticized for being a little bit too tall, but as you can see, it's a lot closer to the Mark 7 in height. It's still just a little bit smaller, so that actually shows you how darn big the Mark 7 truly is. Not only in height, but also in bulk. You can definitely see his upper thighs are a lot chunkier. He's got those actual shoulder pad missile sections. His shoulder pads themselves are a lot broader compared to the more sort of streamlined look of the Mark 4. And the Mark 4 and 6 were already sort of that tank style design. So as I said, it just goes to show how big the Mark 7 truly is. Now in terms of the glossy paintwork, you can see that it is completely different in terms of the paint finish between the two. There's a lot more vibrancy to the red and it's a lot glossier. The gold is even a little bit more shiny as well. In terms of which look do I prefer, I can't really say that I wouldn't love the Mark 7 with this super glossy paintwork. I think that would look absolutely outstanding. However, I'm not one to complain with what we've got right here. The satin finish is still absolutely stunning. And here we have the Mark 5. Now, one of the most surprising things about this comparison, aside of course from the pose that I have him in, you'll have to forgive me, I didn't want to move all those bits and pieces and get him standing back neutral. I'm pretty sure you can still see the comparison just fine. But one of the most surprising things is the Mark 5 is taller than the Mark 7. This should be one of the slimmest, most lightweight suits of armor, but it has once again proven as to how big it truly is. It's bigger than supposedly the bulkiest of the armors. I don't think that's accurate. Then again, I don't think we're going to be getting another Mark V anytime soon, so in the Hall of Armor, you're just going to have to suspend your disbelief for a moment and look at it through rose-tinted glasses. But still, I really do like the fact that they are all die-cast figures, and I know I probably shouldn't be forgiving them for the fact that the size is off, but I think this looks so damn awesome. And here we have the Mark VI, looking absolutely outstanding, still one of my personal favorites. The comparison is pretty much the same thing as the Mark IV, a little bit shorter, and the bulk definitely isn't there. The paint scheme is also similar to the Mark IV in terms of it being super glossy and super vibrant. It's just those gunmetal pieces that have been added on. If you put these two on the same shelf, yes, it would stand out that they aren't the exact same paint finish. There doesn't have that glossy effect on the Mark VII, but I still do think, as I said previously, they appear like they're in the same family, not just because they're both Iron Man suits in the red and gold color scheme, but because they both have that really nice level of wear and tear throughout the entire thing that matches so seamlessly between the two. The gloss definitely is missed, and the nice richness of the red is missed as well. However, I don't think it's all that tragic. I still think the Mark VII looks absolutely outstanding. And here is the one you've all been waiting for, the original plastic Mark VII on the left compared to the die-cast on the right. The original plastic Mark VII was absolutely no slouch whatsoever, but it is definitely showing its signs of age. As you can see, mine has the pink panty syndrome, something fierce. It's a lot lighter than the rest of the body. His arm joint, the rubber in there, is starting to crack, which is not ideal at all. And his proportions look a little bit funky. He's really sort of skinny. His head is a little bit too large in my opinion, and he's a little bit underscaled, so it definitely doesn't work, especially standing next to this guy right here on the right. His proportions look so on point, and the paintwork looks so much more metallic. It looks absolutely outstanding. If you look at the sort of ab section on the plastic Mark VII, I don't know why, but there's some weird color difference between each of those panels. I don't know, again, why it's done that, but it seems to have, over time, lightened up a little bit in terms of the paintwork. I still really do like the Mark VII. It's a nice nostalgic figure and sort of harkens back to the Iron Man figures we were getting back in the day, but stuff like rubber in the joints really hasn't aged well. Now moving on to the battle damage plastic Mark VII, this one I personally really do like. He still has those issues that the original one has, don't get me wrong. However, I can forgive it because of the crazy level of paintwork and attention to detail on all the battle damage bits and pieces on this guy right here. He looks outstanding, there's no two ways about it. That Tony Stark head sculpt is pretty much as good as the new one, and don't worry, we'll compare them in just a second, but the overall look of this guy is just far and away so superior in terms of the battle damage effect. Even if you put all the swap out pieces on the Mark VII, if you want to see that, check out the full review, it doesn't look anywhere near as battle damaged as this guy right here. So I definitely give the win to the plastic one in terms of pulling off that battle damage look, but as an overall package, I still think the die-cast Mark VII takes the win. Taking a look at the Tony Stark head sculpts, as you can see, the one on the left being the new one, I think looks a hell of a lot better, especially in terms of the paintwork and detail. They've actually improved the sculpting process and painting process since they did this old figure. However, I still don't think it looks too terribly bad. I think it looks really good. This guy, however, is the clear winner. Now, in terms of the faceplates themselves, as you can see, the battle damage and paintwork on the new one is far and away superior to this one on the right. The eyes also, for some reason, are really big on the old one, and the detail on the inside looks just as good. In fact, I reckon the old one does the inside a little bit better, but the rest of the paintwork is definitely a clear win for this guy right here. And also, you can't actually close the faceplate on the old one because of these metal pieces that are in the way, whereas on the new one, you definitely can. And yes, you can use this new head sculpt on your plastic battle damage Mark VII if you're so inclined. And just quickly, for good measure, here is that new helmet on the plastic Mark VII. I do think the head looks a little bit too big, but you can definitely just suspend your disbelief for a minute and make it work. And of course, you can remove the faceplate, and then I think the detail on the inside looks just as good, as I said, if not better than the previous version. But you can definitely pull this look off if you want to make use of the head sculpt when you're not displaying it on the diecast figure. Now, for a final side-by-side comparison, here we have the Mark 50. This guy was previously my favorite diecast suit of armor, but that's actually changed now. The Mark 7 is now my all-time favorite. There's something about it that just speaks to me. It looks just that darn good. I still love the Mark 50, don't get me wrong, but the Mark 7 is just edging it out ever so slightly for that top spot. Now, in terms of the actual size of the two, as you can see, the Mark 50 is again even taller. So, as I said, these figures are getting slightly taller with each iteration. I don't know if that's accurate to the films or not. He does just sort of appear to morph into the suit, so I don't know why he'd be getting taller, but then again, in order to make it work with all the engineering, downscaling it might not actually be all that productive, so I guess they had to do it to make it work. That's just me speculating, but I do appreciate the fact that at least we are getting these figures. Either way, these two look absolutely phenomenal together if you want to have an original Avengers suit with sort of nearing the end of Iron Man's run in the Mark 50. Just wrapping up on the Mark 7 comparison video, I am really impressed with the improvements that Hot Toys have made on the diecast figure. I wasn't actually sure that it was going to be able to easily replace the plastic versions in my display until we got to this video. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love my battle damage plastic figure, and that figure ain't going nowhere. However, the original plastic Mark 7 has absolutely been replaced by the diecast figure. It is far and away the superior product. Everything about it just speaks volumes to how good Hot Toys have become as a figure company. Either way, this guy is in stock and up for pre-order right now with Philip Liu from Toys Wonderland, and the link for that is down in the description below. Also, check out the full review for the giveaway details on the Mark 7. Philip and I are partnering up once again to do a giveaway on the Mark 7. Check out the review for that, top right hand corner in the cards section of this video. Also, check out 6 Scale Network, the brand new awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and participate in giveaways like the Mark 7 one, which is going on right now. Also, check out Justin and Steph, our brand new second channel for behind the scenes videos, vlogs, and videos on our adventures as well. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.